Hi guys, WD here. So season 20 is around the corner, and I also released a lot of guides. So if you're interested in some build guides or leveling guides or something, check it out. And I just want to talk a little bit about what the season will bring for us. And in case you haven't been keeping up with the patch notes and the discussions and the builds and so on, here we go. Basically, the season theme revolves around the canized cube and allows you to use any free powers for your canized cube. So you can have 3 weapons, you can have 2 weapons, 1 jewelry, you can have 3 armor slots, whatever. The thing is that the season theme is actually extremely weak. So compared to the other seasons, especially compared to season 19, it's a big nerf. And even compared to the Ring of Royal Ranger season and the Legacy of Dreams season or Legacy of Nightmare season, for most builds, nothing really changes. So this is something that, it's actually quite sad with the season 20 theme, but this is what it is. It's mainly a big buff to necromancers. So you're going to see big necromancer meta. Redma runs are really strong. And we have 4-man pushing setup with necromancer trash clear setup with the Nova. And we also have a Rift Guardian Killer. There's actually 2 Rift Guardian Killer setups on Necromancer, and 1 with Crusader, and 1 that kind of works with Barbarian with the Frenzy. But it's mostly a Necromancer season. So this is something that, if you're not aware of, Necromancer is so strong with canized cube because it has extremely strong weapon choices, and you can generally stack them for most Necromancer builds, which is something that most other classes don't have. Most other classes, they can maybe swap around the armor slot to some other weapon or something and get like a little boost from that. But in most cases, actually, most builds stay the same. You can do some, funny stuff. For example, like having 4 immunity amulets, but it's basically a strict downgrade to any existing build. So that's just something for fluff. So, if you don't care about how strong your build is, then of course you can do that. But if you actually want to improve your build, there's not really many options. So this is something that you should keep in mind. I've done a lot of experimentation myself, and for example, Demon Hunter, there is not really anything you can do besides Untitled Essence. For example, Demon Hunter still has Rapid Fire as the strongest build, but this one doesn't get anything, and Untitled Essence actually gets a combination of elements. So if you like Demon Hunters, then go for Untitled Essence. I would suggest. It's just like 3 or 4 tiers weaker than Rapid Fire, because you get convention now. But aside from that, like most classes don't really have much. Monks can do some stuff with Shenlongs, maybe, so we'll see about that. But most builds generally stay the same. So yeah, as far as the meta is concerned, the 4-man meta, I mentioned it, is going to be Necromancer. So I have a guide for that. The Death Nova Necromancer, it's extremely strong. It's going to blast to 150 in very short time. You're probably going to see the first clear after like 2 days in the season or so. It's going to happen very quickly because Necromancer is so strong with the Nova. Aside from that, we have Witch Doctor being the second best build basically for the Rift Clear role. So Witch Doctor meta is also going to obliterate 150, and Witch Doctor is very strong. Also up against that. And then you have, the Ratmas, the Rat runs basically being extremely strong as well. So you're going to speed run, 120 plus in like 2-3 minutes or so. So this is why we're at. And aside from that, the old builds are still there. So for example, Whirlwind Barbarian and so on. But it's simply like a worse version of, speed running with rats, for example. Then we have the new Frenzy Barb. Frenzy Barb is a little bit of a question mark, but for the most part, it's a little bit weaker than the Crusader Rift Guardian Killer. And Crusader is probably going to be like the standard Rift Guardian Killer, but you can play Corpse Lens Necro, and they should be fairly similar in power level, depending on the tier you're running. Basically when you run it here, where the Corpse Lens Necro can just stack a little bit of Stricken and then do a 1 rotation kill, that would be probably the preferred choice to go Necromancer. Otherwise, it's probably the Crusader, but they're fairly even. And then the Frenzy Barb is a little bit behind. Yeah. As for the solo clears, the Witch Doctor is most likely the strongest class. I don't know, maybe we're going to see something on Necromancer simply because it gets these huge buffs from the cube. But for the most part, solo Witch Doctor is going to go up to 145 plus. Same as the Crusader probably. Crusader actually has a few things with Ivory Tower, because you can cube multiple shields, you can actually make a pretty strong Ivory Tower setup that could beat the normal set, the normal build for Solar Crusader. It got nerfed a little bit, but it's still at least 145 plus capable. So those two classes are definitely the strongest in solo. Then a little bit behind, you have the Monk Barb, the Monk with Tempest Rush. And then, yeah, Necromancer should probably be also around 140 or so. I don't know exactly what build they're going to play. Maybe it's a little bit stronger even. And then you have yeah, Demon Hunter, I don't know, 135 or so, maybe with Rapid Fire. Yeah, and Wizard is also like around 135-ish, I assume, with Veers. So for Wizard, there's not really much. The new Hydra stuff is extremely weak. I imagine that Veers is probably still better in solo, but maybe you can play lone Hydras or lot Hydras, and that might be alright, but it got nerfed severely. And yeah, with the Wizard stuff from patch 2.6.8 is basically dead on arrival. So I don't think that many people will really bother with this, at least on the high levels, simply because it seems very weak. It got nerfed even more, and the set itself is also not really working. So yeah, it's a really sad story with Wizard. Yeah, so I hope this gives you like a little bit of an idea of what the season will be about and how it will go. As I said, I put out a lot of YouTube content, so check it out. I'm going to be streaming as well. I'm going to be playing Witch Doctor mainly, and also support Barb. Perhaps I will do some frenzy action. So, you know, feel free to come stop by on the stream. And otherwise, I also wish you guys a good season. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.